That's Jay Feely, former NFL kicker. He's part of the NFLPA Executive Committee as well on Tiki and Tierney.
All right, Jay, explain to us what was going on with Judge Berman. You were there, obviously, as a member of the Executive Committee, as BT just said.
Were you cheating, Jay?
But also, you know Tom well. So what happened there in his hearings?
The Judge Berman asked John Mara and myself. He actually, he asked a member from each of the executive committees to be there to try and help facilitate getting an agreement done and finding some common ground, which that didn't happen. There was just too big of a gap between what the NFL wanted and what Tom wanted, and it wasn't going to happen because what they both wanted were completely opposed to each other. The NFL wanted him to admit guilt and to agree with some of the Wells report or all the Wells report, and Tom was dead set that he would have come to some kind of agreement if he could have said that he was not complicit in any way. If it was just, that he obstructed their investigation, he would have probably found common ground, but he wasn't going to admit to something that he believed that he didn't do.
Yeah, no, and when you look at it from an outside perspective, we have no idea what's going on. It almost feels like, it almost feels like the NFL is just trying to justify what they've already done, and that's not fair.
I think they got backed into a corner at the very beginning. They had very little idea about any ideal gas law, those principles that the PSI deflated on its own when it was in cold weather and wet weather, and just reacted. My analogy was, something that was a speeding ticket, they reacted like it was a homicide investigation, if anything even happened.
Yeah.
And now they have to try and save face.
Yeah, what happens, though, if, for instance, Saints, they now have all the procedures in place to measure the PSI footballs before, after, and even at halftime. What happens if in November the footballs are shown to fall 2 or 3 points, whatever point per square inch, and these footballs that started at 12.5 are now at 11.9? What if that happens even now? Who loses?
They desperately won't want that information to come out.
Yeah, but it will come out, and who loses there? You know what I mean?
The NFL and Roger Goodell, because you've taken your most high-profile player, the most successful quarterback in the history of your league, who's gone to 6 Super Bowls and won 4 of them, and you've defamed him, and you have made him out to be a cheater, and you have no evidence. It's all circumstantial, and that was one of the reasons why I brought up the Jets case was in there from the NFLPA, and it did.
Yeah, explain that to us. Explain that to us. Explain that to us, Jay.
So what happened was it's a similar case in that when I was there in 2009, it didn't have anything to do with me in particular, although I was the kicker there. But the ball boy for the K balls, the K balls and the quarterback balls are different and they're treated differently. The K balls, you get 20 minutes prior to the game to break the balls in front of an official, and it's a ball boy from each team. So they're very regulated. So our guy was in there, and the Patriots ball boy manager complained that he had something that was outside of the rules, that the Jets manager had something that was outside the rules. What ended up happening was he had his brush that he's allowed to use, he had put a pad on the back of it to protect his hand so it didn't dig into his hand when he was not a big deal. But anyway, they complained. The NFL filed with the Jets the complaint, and they suspended the ball boy, the manager.
I mean, that's even dumber than Deflategate. What, the kid didn't want to get a callus? Oh, my God.
He didn't want,
Good Lord, Jay.
You got 20 minutes. And the circumstantial evidence was similar because I paid him every week, like I've done with all my ball boys. I always tip them because they're doing a job that benefits me. Mm-hmm. And I want them to have an incentive to do it.
Sure.
And to do it well. And after he got in trouble, I called him, I texted him, and I was concerned about him. I felt bad that he got in trouble. He ended up losing his job. So all of those circumstantial evidence that they said shows that Brady cheated were the same as mine, but the NFL reacted completely differently. I was never questioned. I was never said that that I had cheated or anything like that, which wasn't the case. But they used that same circumstantial evidence to point to Tom and say, "Oh, well, of course he cheated."
So that's the homeless guy I tripped over this morning coming to work, huh? Good job, Jay.